Maybe I'll just do lo-fi today. Make it a little bit of lo-fi. Yo, what's up, Smelly? How's it going, dog? We're back. I know it's a little bit late today. It's gonna be we're gonna be shooting from the hip today a little bit. Wednesday I'll be back to regularly scheduled programming. But yeah. Today, really, I mean, what is there really new to talk about in the war? The war rages on, more missile strikes, starting to target oil facilities. Pretty much expected, but I did want to, I guess as the title suggests, like, I guess there are a couple things I thought I would address. Like, there's been this big AI controversy going on. Like, is Netanyahu dead? Are these videos AI? And honestly, I don't have a super strong opinion. I just don't think it really matters that much, you know? Better late than ever. You feeling better? I am feeling better. I just felt like shit on Friday, I'm not gonna lie. And like the past, either way, like the past like week or whatever, I've just been like totally like kind of checked out from politics a bit. I've just been enjoying some time away. I've been playing a ton of Marathon. Man, that game is good, dude. That game is so good. Yeah. But anyway, we're here. And yeah, but when it comes to like the AI Netanyahu thing, I just think like, you know, what I had a friend actually tell me about it first. He's like, hey, did you hear about this video? They think that Netanyahu's dead because they think this video is AI. I'm like, that doesn't seem likely. And if you think about it, it's like, okay, what is the likelihood that Israel, the Mossad, the IDF, Netanyahu, this conniving evil mastermind or whatever, would have gotten slimed by some Iranian missiles? You know, of all the assets to protect in Israel, like Netanyahu would be like #1. They have a lot of bunkers, a lot of protection for him. So for that reason alone, I don't think it's true, but I don't rule it out entirely. I don't care that much. I think on the one hand, and here's how you know I'm a free thinker. Because first of all, you have a lot of people that are coping, a lot of like brown clown cope. What's up, Razor? How's it going? How's it going, Doc? How's it going? It's been a minute. And they're coping, Netanyahu's dead. And it's like, yeah, that would be a W, but I just don't think it's likely. Now, if you said they're using AI videos because, you know, they want to protect Bibi Netanyahu's location or whatever, that would be more like people are going from A to like W. They're going from A to the color red. It's like, how do you go from, okay, AI videos, therefore Netanyahu is dead? Possible. I just don't think it's likely. Now, if you told me they were using AI videos to like protect Netanyahu's location for PR because they don't want to, look, I'm out and about, I'm getting coffee out, you know, I'm not afraid of the Iranian missiles at all. That would be like one thing, but you know, I don't rule out the possibility of the videos being AI. I doubt they are. They seem legit to me. Some of the arguments people are making are just retarded though. Like the coffee foam. Did you see this one? Let me see if I can find it. Like I saw, and the person who originally like posted this, so people are pointing out that like, oh look at the way the drink moves. It doesn't spill. It's AI. It's like, have you never, like, people are saying, look, it's AI because it's not spilling. Like, have you never drinking coffee with foam before? What are we doing? What are we talking about here? Every day I'm drinking a coffee and it's got foam and you can. And the person who originally pointed that out apparently said, look guys, it was a joke, but people are taking that and running with it. Now all of this is like AI, and it's like, okay, like, this to me looks like visual artifacting, because you still kind of see something there. And it feels silly that we're sitting here sort of scrutinizing this video in the first place. It's like, but how consequential really is this? And to what end? Let's say all of this is AI. Let's say Bibi Netanyahu really is dead. It's like, that's going to come out eventually. Maybe now they want to show solidarity. They want to demoralize the Iranian regime by saying your missiles are ineffective. They don't want to give them that W. Fair. But eventually it's going to, like, if he is dead, it's going to come out that he's dead. You can't hide this forever. You can't hide a head of state being dead forever. But I digress. So it feels silly that we're like scrutinizing, and this is getting so much traction. So many people are talking about, are these videos fake or real? And it's like, and this is what the Goyim care about. And this is what the Goyim care about. This is what's occupying all of the attention span and brain power of the Goyim, is whether or not this is AI. And it's like, and so it's a lot of cope. It's a lot of cope. And then another one is people are saying, like, look at the when he puts his hand in his jacket, look at the way it moves. That doesn't it's, what are we talking about here? Like, let me see. When does he put his hand in his jacket? People are saying this right here is AI because of the way it moves. I'm like, what? It's just moving back into its default shape. It's in tension as he puts his hand in. Once his fingers clear the threshold, it springs back because it's somewhat elastic. And I'm seeing people say shit like this, and it's like, what are we talking about? What are we doing? If you want to talk about like visual artifacts, okay, the ring disappears, you know, missing teeth, 6 fingers. Okay, maybe there's something there. You know, like in the other video, I'll try to pull it up in a second. Okay, maybe you can make a point there that, but like, how you go from this video is AI to Bibi Netanyahu is dead is just like, that's a complete leap. I agree with you, but it raises the question of why America is protecting someone who's actually accused of war crimes as arrested warrant from the international court. Isn't the answer to that question obvious? Because America is captured, along with a lot of these other countries, along with the Saudi, like along with all the Arabian Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, you know, Bahrain. They're captured. They're in bed with the Israelis. They're in bed with the Jewish fifth column. That's why, in one way or another, Bibi is smart enough to be deep underground. Some say he's in a tunnel. Many are saying that. Wouldn't be very on brand. And so that to me, if this is AI, that would be the reason why, not because he's dead, you know? Like, that to me would be the more likely explanation. That they would just make AI videos so, like, I don't know, so people can't kill him because he's, you know, they're in the middle of a war and, you know, it's not very safe for him. Also, he said in a previous statement in America, in the presence of Trump, that Palestinians are evil animals. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, like Mark Levin, Randy Fine. It's totally ridiculous. I don't care if he died or not. We are missing the important thing about the people who really suffer because of this shit person. Yeah, it's just, it feels inconsequential ultimately. Like, Netanyahu is like, yeah, he's their head of state, but he's not the crux of the problem. That's what people don't understand. A lot of people will shift blame onto Netanyahu or the right-wing Likud. It's like, dude, like 80% of Israelis support this. 80% of Israelis support this war with Iran. A majority of Jews that are not Israeli support this war. You see Trump, his cabinet, they're like only retweeting like Zionist Jews right now. Like, that's what MAGA has come to. It's Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and like Laura Loomer. And like Michael Savage. Like, that's MAGA now. These people who said they would never vote for President Trump, that they're anti-MAGA 10 years ago, now all of a sudden they are MAGA. How did that happen? Everyone else for the most part, has left the ship. It's just the only people left in MAGA are like Jews and like the most absolute brain raped goy slaves. That's like it. And people who are paid, you know, people like John Doyle. They want you to think he's dead. I don't even think they want you to think he's dead, honestly. I don't even think it's that deep. I think, like, I think they want you to think he's alive, first of all. Otherwise, why would they put out a video saying, look, I'm alive, here are my hands? You know, literally, this is a video of them mocking you. Mocking all the people that say, oh, I'm dead. 6 fingers, AI generated video, here are my hands, you see. No, I don't think they want you to think he's dead. I think they want you to think he's alive, actually. I don't think this is like, I don't think this is like, there's like a hidden agenda behind that, behind what's sort of obvious here. I don't think this is 5D chess or anything like that. I don't think this is reverse psychology. You know, here's a video of him flaunting his vitality. I'm alive. They actually want you to think he's dead. I don't think that makes any sense. I think that's too convoluted. On-screen chat is off, by the way. Oh, let me see if I can fix that real quick. Let me see if I can fix that. Why is it off? Let me see if I can fix that real quick. That's bizarre. Maybe I have to make a new. That's weird. Why is it not showing up? Oh, maybe try this one. Let me try this one. Sometimes this. There we go. Well, that actually didn't solve the fucking problem, did it? That actually fucked it up, because now it's like not transparent. Now it's just putting the whole damn window in there. This app has been very buggy, not gonna lie. Like, why is it invisible? Why did it go transparent? Maybe if I do that. Oh, what? Oh, I know why. Wait a second. How did this happen? Is it the font size? Yeah. That's what happened. Okay. I think you can see it now, right? Is it too small? I can make it bigger. Let me make it so shit doesn't disappear. Alright. Very small. Why is it like this? You know, I don't touch shit, and for some reason it just like decides to just. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, we'll roll with that for now. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger. We'll roll with that for now. Cool. Let me catch up here. I gotta go back. Dashboard. Okay. Yes, they support it because they're a group of sick individuals with that colonial mentality, and they study it as if it were a victory for them and a right for the Jews. Not all Jews. I mean those Jews who support that. Well, I wouldn't even necessarily like colonialism. It's deeper than that. It's Jewish supremacy. It's like people will blame it on like a political ideology. It's a religious one. It is one that is deeply rooted in their entire personhood. You know, because the Jews are a very unique group of people. They have unique, they're not just a religion, but they're also a race. They have distinct genetics. And they believe they're God's chosen people. But even the secular Jews, it's like they have been inundated with this belief that and this is due to the nature of them being a diaspora, that like the world is out to get them. They're very histrionic, they're very emotional, and they're very they're distrusting, almost to like a schizophrenic degree. They don't trust the non-Jews because of the Holocaust, because of the pogroms, because of, anti-Semitism and whatnot over thousands of years. That's been like ingrained in their collective consciousness. So it's not like the equivalent of like European colonialism to America. It's very different. It's a very different beast. And so the problem is not colonialism. That's not the crux of the problem. And I hope people really understand that. In the same way, the problem is not Netanyahu or the right-wing Likud government. It's just, this is something that's kind of like intrinsic to the Jewish collective. And if, like, there are, of course, good Jews out there, that goes without saying, but understand the kind of situation that they're put in. If they come out against this kind of stuff, if they advocate for like complete assimilation into the countries they inhabit, they'll be completely ostracized by all their Jewish peers and friends and family. Because that's how they've sort of ascended. That's how they've survived, was by nepotism. They would go to these countries and then they would work their way up and they would help each other out as a collective. And if they were to assimilate, if they were to shed their heritage, their Jewish personhood, then they would kind of lose their superpower. They would lose their nepotistic superpower that's allowed them to climb these ladders in all these different countries, because then they're just one of the goy, and they don't want to be goyim. They don't believe they're goyim. Ultimately, they do think that they're superior collectively, of course. So, and that's like the thing. It's like, and it's not like this is necessarily entirely unique to Jews. Like, there are other groups of people that feel this kind of tribalistic loyalty to their people, but it's just in a whole nother category. It's in a whole nother league when it comes to Jewish nepotism, because it is an ethno-religion. There's a religious aspect to it too, and their religion permits things like deception, lying, and even enslaving the Gentiles. So, and a lot of people struggle with what I'm talking about. They don't get it. They get stuck on these ideological priors. They think it's about colonialism. It's about these other things. And it's like, not really. Some people still are stuck on calling these people Nazis. It's like, they're not Nazis, man. Not even close. The Nazis were in opposition to all of this. That's just like propaganda. That is Jewish propaganda. Like, they want you to equate everything bad or authoritarian and evil with the Nazis. Like, that is a machination of the very thing that these people represent. That works in their favor. If you think that like Netanyahu is a Nazi and not a Talmudic Jewish supremacist. So, what makes me feel disgusted are those who claim that they don't know the situation and avoid answering, but they will support the side that pays them. There are many of these celebrities today. Yeah, a lot of people are just like, they are just shills. A lot of people are just shills. Some people do it for the love of the game. They do it for free because like they are just that raped. There are some people out there that literally support this because, I don't know, because they're just stuck. Like, if you supported Trump for 10 years and you're watching Trump do this, which is very much in contradiction to what he ran on in 2015, being against the Iraq war, no new wars, against foreign interference, America first, and then you were here today in 26, and he's doing all of those things. Like, that's actually difficult for a lot of people to process, that level of betrayal. And so people will just, they'll just gaslight themselves because they don't want to deal with the mental anguish, the mental and emotional anguish of admitting that, like, not only were they duped, but they were betrayed. And that's too difficult for a lot of people to contend with. So, okay. The land is not their promised land. Do you know why? Because how can your promised land be one that you occupy and seize from the people? It's illogical. Also, before the Balfour Declaration, they were discussing where they would build their promised land. How can you discuss building your promised land when you were promised it? Yeah, I mean, ultimately, look, you're not promised anything. Empires rise and fall. People conquer other people. That's just the way of the world, you know? One country, one empire will conquer another country and they'll just take their shit. And that's how things have always worked. So this idea that you're promised anything, no, you're not. And, you know, and I feel for the Palestinian people, but, you know, there's a lesson in this. Like, they were conquered, and you cannot be weak. You cannot allow yourself to be conquered like that. And that's what's essentially happening to the Middle East. You know, they've been divided up, and they've allowed these like ethnic tensions that exist among the other Middle Eastern peoples to sort of supersede any kind of animosity they have towards Israel. So in other words, you have, like, just on paper, let me ask you, does this make any sense that you have two Muslim countries? I know Shiites and Sunnis don't get along, and they're different ethnically, Persians versus the Arabs. Saudi Arabia and Iran are going to war with one another, and not teaming up and fighting Israel. Like, how does that make any sense exactly? They have so much more in common with one another than they do with Israel. It's so much more in their interests that Israel gets pushed out of the region than them teaming up with Israel. And that's what's so sick, is that, like, you know, these Middle Eastern countries in many ways are doing it to themselves. The Arabs are doing it to themselves. Like, where were all these Muslim countries after October 7th and when Israel was bombing the shit out of the Palestinians? You know, and, you know, they were mysteriously quiet. And so if there was some kind of united, coordinated front to fight against Israel, Israel would have had a much harder time. But one by one, they've been able to sequester and target each of their adversaries in the region whenever they wanted. And that's how they've been waging this war since October, longer than that, but really you saw coming into full play after October 7th. It's like they'll bomb the Palestinians, call for a ceasefire, then they'll bomb the Lebanese in southern Lebanon. That will go on for a few weeks. They'll call for a ceasefire, then they'll break their treaty with the Palestinians and start bombing them again preemptively. And that will go on for a few weeks. Then they'll call for a ceasefire. Then they'll start bombing southwestern Syria. And that will go on. And, you know, so they're just moving their assets around the region, breaking all of their ceasefire treaties that they called for. And that's how they've been able to fight one enemy at a time rather than the entire region all at once. And if these countries were more organized, if they were smarter, if they put their differences aside to team up against Israel, then, you know, Israel would have had a much harder time. And I know America is waiting in the wing, but it's like, look, America can't fight this war for very long. So like they cannot maintain the war with Iran forever without like full deployment. And full deployment would be disastrous for America. This war has already been disastrous for America in so many ways. Putting like a full invasion force would be terrible. And what other options do they have? They could try to, like, and I talked about this. This is not a difficult prediction to make because escalation is the only way forward, really, for America in order to save face, and Israel, because Israel's not going to allow America to just back out at this point. So what does escalation looks like? It's like boots on the ground, either, you know, nukes, or they hit key infrastructure and starve the people out and just cause so many casualties that the Iranians would surrender or overthrow their government and fully capitulate. Essentially, try to do what was done to the Palestinians. So those are like, that's one of these options or combination of these options is going to be the future. Your special needs Goyim. Let's go. Was bro red pilled yesterday? Wait, you're Saudi, right? You said you were in Saudi Arabia. How are you doing with all of this? I don't think all Nazis were bad people. It's unreasonable for that narrative to be true. I would say that Hitler's actions toward the Jews were bad, but we can't say he was very bad or that he was evil. This is not a realistic narrative because we don't know the Nazi side since... why is it moving so slowly now? Why is the chat on the screen moving so slowly? I swear I don't touch this app and then it just fucks up. Maybe I should find a new app for this. Yeah, obviously the Nazis aren't really here to defend themselves, are they? So, I speak from my personal opinion. I support the right of Palestine, both before and after October 7th, but because I learned that Palestine is an occupied state, I saw the Palestinians in my country, asked them, and they told me the truth about why they were forcibly removed from their homes and their country. Yeah, I remember, my dad was telling me my grandpa was a commercial airline pilot. He said the Palestinian people were some of the nicest people he ever met. It really sucks seeing what happened to them. So I just hope that our region calms down from the conflicts caused by Israel, because Israel has not only crossed international borders but has also become a terrorist state by all international standards. Yeah, man. Yeah, you said it. I mean, Israel is a pariah state, and it just, Melis Femboy, love over stream on the setup while he's going. Okay, all right, Smelly. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. Slander, lies, deception. Anyway. So this is where we're at. Again, just kind of like more of the same. Oh, and then there was the Kai Schwimmer drama. Brother. You guys see this? Kai Schwimmer? Let me see if I can find the response real quick. So essentially, and I briefly talked about this on Wednesday. So he was named the new director of College Republicans of America, political director of College Republicans of America. And I was like, oh, I'm surprised they let that one through. And essentially, he folded under zero pressure. Can I find the original response? Here it is. So Jonathan fucking Greenblatt, who is like our mortal enemy, you know, this guy hates us, okay? He hates, like, he is through and through a leftist Jewish supremacist, you know, left-wing Jewish supremacist that, like, most bad faith actor, literally the ADL. And here's Kai throwing the Groypers under the bus. Saying, I'm not a Groyper, I am simply and unapologetically an American nationalist. It's like, dude, why are you even responding to this fucking guy? He got less than 600 likes. Okay? Nobody likes Jonathan Greenblatt. No, like, our side, this is our fucking enemy. Our ideological enemy. This is not a good faith person you're engaging in with here. Look, he's even engaging in the triple parentheses meme too. You know, like, this guy is a Jewish chauvinist. Why are you capitulating in any kind of way? Life is a process of growth and refinement. My comments in high school as a teenager should not be taken accurately, reflect my views or demeanor now. Why are you... This just gives weakness, man. Is this all it takes? Is this all it takes to get you to distance yourself? Like this person is someone that is pulling up shit from when you were in high school to smear your name. Why are you even engaging with that? You think we would have learned by now? We learned this shit 10 fucking years ago. Remember when cancel culture was like first becoming a thing? Even like blue pill people like Steven Crowder would say like, you can't apologize to these people. And he's right. He was 100% right. Because what does this do? What does this do? Like, Jonathan Greenblatt's never going to accept Kai Schwemmer. They're never going to break bread. Jonathan Greenblatt will always distrust and despise Kai. So what's even the point? So all you do, you're capitulating to someone that is never going to accept your apology, and you're throwing all the people that supported you to get you to where you are today, and you're throwing them under the fucking bus and saying that I'm a little bitch. Because I'm apologizing to our mortal enemy that hates you, doesn't care about whether or not you're good faith or not. What a blunder. What a disappointment. And I don't think that this is 5D chess. I don't think this is Kai, you know, hiding his power level. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You've already been doxxed. You've already been out there. People know who you are. Hiding your power level is not talking about your views, flying under the radar, really getting into like a position of influence and power, and then just doing your job. You know, just doing your job, not going on Twitter and talking about how you're a groiper, how much you just do your fucking job effectively, silently in the bureaucracy, unless the time is right, where it's time to get public, like run for office or something and be the face of things. But that's hiding your power level, not fucking capitulating. That just get like the cat's out the bag, man. You're a groiper. You went to AFPAC. You know Nick personally. You were streaming on Cozy for years. Okay? Like, when will people learn? Should have known, man. Mormons, red flag. Mormons, red flag. Now I don't feel so bad for flaming his set. Now I don't feel so bad for flaming his talk show set. There's a lesson in that. Let me see if I can. Where is it? Where is his? I guess I have to go through media. When he revealed his new set for his show. Here. I'm like, bro, like, it looks like you're streaming out of a hotel, out of a hotel room. Now there's a lesson in that. Hey, if your set looks like shit, you're untrustworthy. If your set looks like shit, you're untrustworthy. All the warning signs were there that he was going to sell out. It makes perfect sense. I was just too blind to see it at the time. I was too cowardly. Call him out and say, your set sucks. You're a traitor. Your set sucks. You're going to betray Nick in the future. It makes perfect sense if you think about it. Rule 1, never apologize. Yeah, these people are not good faith. Remember that. These people are not good faith. The goal of Jonathan Greenblatt calling Kai out is not to, like, heal the country and try to get closer to the truth. Try and mend the division. It's literally to attack his political enemies. That's literally it. So, don't forget that. Do not forget that. Bro, all these people are exploitative. They didn't talk about these matters before, but look at them now. The American people have become sympathetic to the Palestinian side. They are now throwing accusations at those they hate. This is utter chaos. Oh, they've always been doing that. They accuse others of what they're guilty of doing. They've been doing that for a very long time. This is nothing new, really. It's just now the Goyim are beginning to see a little bit more of what's going on. And the problem I have is that instead of like sort of being activated politically, you sort of seeing the bigger picture, they're debating whether or not a fucking coffee cup is AI generated or not. It's like, dude, that's the black pill a little bit. That's frustrating, you know? Anyway. This is called avoiding responsibility so that no one blames him. Instead of doing his actual job, he will attack people on Twitter to divert the blame to them as if he is the good person in the situation. That's what, oh yeah, it's a virtue signal, you know? That's what these people do when they're horrible people. What's up, Spells going, dog? Kai Schwimmer and Wuza killed Charlie, confirmed. Watch out, Jimbo, you're on thin ice. You're on fraud watch, Jimbo. You're on fraud watch. MAGA is dead. Oh yeah, it's yeah. If you're still MAGA, dude, like you're either like Jewish, or just like the goodest of goys. You know, you're either like totally 100% Jewish, or just a Shabbos goy flipping on light switches. You know, or just a fucking idiot. The beekeepers, yeah, the beekeeper. Beekeeper is code for Mormon LSD. Yeah. I still think BIBI is alive though. Yeah, I did too. Did someone, what's up, George? Anime clips Groiper crash out. Yeah, I saw that too. All over Kai. It's like, bro. You know what it's like? Like, think for 2 seconds. If this makes any fucking sense to you. It's like, we are in a war here. You understand? Mark Levin is king of MAGA. Yeah, he can have it. He can have it. Like, let me ask you something. Does it make sense? Well, you're in a war. Let's say you're playing a game of Counter-Strike. You're trying to win the game. You know, you're down. It's 3-9. And you're like, okay, guys, we got to lock in. We got to team up. Let's rush B this round. I'll throw you till. I'll smoke off B doors. I'll flash you guys out. Here's the plan. Let's go. And like one of your teammate, instead of going B, he says something in Russian. Suka. He fucking runs towards long A, gets one tapped, and then flames his shit, says shit team in all chat. And you're down 4v5. That's what it's like. It's like we are in a war here. Like we're just having people throwing our fucking ranked games. That's literally under zero pressure. Under zero fucking pressure. It's just like, dude, just follow the strat. Why are you attacking your own team? It's like, do you not want to win? You know, why are you throwing your own team under the bus like that? That's why it's like the most loyal attribute to have is loyalty, man. It's like we're not gonna get anywhere unless people are loyal. Like we can tolerate a lot, believe it or not. We can tolerate disagreement. We can tolerate even diversity to a degree. We can tolerate even stupidity to an extent. But we cannot tolerate disloyalty. We will get absolutely nowhere without loyalty. Seriously. People wonder, how do we get out of this mess? You got to be loyal. You have to lock the fuck in. You be loyal to people that are loyal to you. Like, know who your enemies are and who your friends are. Jonathan Greenblatt, I can't believe I have to even say this. Jonathan Greenblatt is not your fucking friend, man. He is the enemy. He hates you. Wake up, goy. Jonathan fucking Greenblatt hates you because you are a goy. You are a goy. The air is hiding with BB. I think BB's just in a bunker somewhere. Misa scared. Misa prime minister. Beaker needs to take one for the team and marry Laura. Why would you say something like that? Why would you just intentionally rage bait me like that? Do you have no care for my mental well-being? Why would you put that mental model in my head, you sick fuck? I hate you for that. Why is this going so slowly? Do you see this? Why is the chat on screen moving so fucking slowly? I swear, dude, I do does absolutely nothing. App just completely fucking breaks. If I like try to copy the whatever. I'll fix it later. Anyway. Like, look at how slowly it moves, man. What is up with that? That's bullshit. That war will harm you inevitably. Even if you were in America, you will unfortunately pay those costs from your taxes. Oh yeah, we're already paying for it, dude. Believe me, you are preaching to the choir. We are very much not in favor of this war. We can tolerate Sneeko, that's a lot, true. Hey, pray for Sneeko. Pray for Sneeko. Don't rape, pray. Pray. We pray for Sneeko. Bro's gotta deal with an axe wound? Okay, relax. Okay, gross. And Congress will say, we were wrong. Iran is not a threat. They did it in Iraq and Afghanistan before. Yeah, you see that? Yeah. Yeah. One speaker looked good with the big Cuban chain on his neck. What are we even talking about here? What are we doing? What are we conversing about right now? No, Buzz, you are a toy. Why do they keep saying Iran has run out of missiles and drones? Everybody knows they haven't. I mean, for the same reason why Trump has said for like 20th time that we've won the war and the war is over. You know, it's like, yeah. 3 of 4 C gang members present in chat. True. California. Greatest state in the country. There, I said it. It's a special text effect. No, I think it's just, you know, the app was coded by a bunch of fucking monkeys. And maybe I have to restart it or something, but I don't want to do that right now. We're at the pointing fingers at each other with accusations of treason phase. It only gets worse from here. Okay, but the thing is, like, I do think some people are guilty of treason, you know? I think we are in the right when we accuse of people supporting like that have got us into this war for a foreign country. I think they're much more likely to be, I think there's a much stronger case to be made that they're treasonous and not us. When they say we're terrorist sympathizers or something for opposing the war, we're supporting these Islamic jihadis because we are opposing this war against the evil Muslim caliphate. It's like, seriously, dude? But yeah, I do think some people are absolutely guilty of treason. So the app is supporting my BIBI for fuck smell. Yeah, it's Mossad. Mossad is fucking with my app, you know. And when you try to unify with libs on Israel, they go, but you voted for Orange Man, you fascists, plus Jewish gaslighting were cooked. Yeah, I didn't vote for this. I did not vote. I did not vote for the, I sat out voting in 2024. Because I knew this would happen. Not a difficult prediction to make. So. Yeah, but again, libs just don't get it, man. Libs are not, I've grown tired of saying this, but because I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's become kind of trite, but like libs do not think in terms of like first principles. You know, their worldview is inherently flawed. And so they will never address the issue as being anything deeper than like something political, because they just have too many ideological priors about like the Jews and white supremacy and like victim versus oppressor narratives and colonialism versus native populations. So like liberals, you know, they just don't get it. In Canada for MGOAT? Yeah. Oh yeah, Canada. Yeah, that's why you said C, yeah. Trump tells Britain we don't need their sloppy aircraft carrier. Now bro wants everyone to help him take on Iran. Yeah, all these people, like all these Europeans we insulted, and yeah, nobody's answering the call, bro, other than like France. But as specifically the call to escort ships through the Strait, like nobody's answering that fucking call because it's retarded. You're gonna escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz? Like, you're asking to get your vessels sunk. Like, what are you thinking? You're gonna put like a multi-billion-dollar vessel through the Strait of Hormuz just for it to get taken out by like a $35,000 drone or something? That is retarded. That is just not smart. And like, why would you support America if America started a war that is hurting your country economically? Like, if you're Japan, or if you're like South Korea, they had their THAAD systems pulled. They're freaking out because they have no missile defense now because America took their THAAD systems and their target acquisition radar systems for the THAADs, and they moved them over to defend Israel. Why would you go help out America then? When they started this war and it's crashed your fucking economy. Hello? Literally destroying all of our relations with these other countries over fucking Israel. Just like, this is such a disaster. It's like so like just hard not to like blackpill by the whole situation, but like seriously, like, fuck, man. Like, how do, if you're one of these third parties, how do you root for America in this situation? What does rooting for America even look like? What's the plan here exactly? You're gonna go put your people in harm's way for a war that, what is the objective of this war? What's the timeline for this war exactly? Can any of these fucking people in the Pentagon give you a clear answer on that? You're gonna go dedicate your resources, your military to this operation that has no clear objective. No clear plan. No, yeah, I would say no thanks, no thank you. End the war as quickly as possible. That's what I would say. So, taking over Karg Island is a suicide mission. Yeah, it would be tough. I think doable, but tough. I mean, it's built up. And something like, what, 95% of their... I want to say what their crude oil exports come from there. They're not their crude, their actual oil exports come from there. Or I should say pass through there. So it's a very important part of their supply chain. And they've, been talking about, they've been sort of wargaming this out for decades. It's not a new thing. I will say it and repeat it, the war in Iran is not the target for destroying the state. They want to drag Iran into the war so that it attacks the entire region, and Israel can become the sole superpower in the area, then they could justify the occupation of other countries and claim it as self-defense. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially the gist of it. Is Israel is trying to become a superpower, and Iran is their number one threat to that goal, the number one obstacle to that goal. Yeah. And that's what people don't understand. They think this is about regime change or denuclearization, and those are a lot, or de-Islamification. That's another one. That is all like tertiary. That is like nowhere. That is not the crux of the matter. They'll make it about China. It's like, no, this is about Israel's ascendancy. Just again, go back to first principles. Iran is a hostile competitor to Israel in the region. Israel is trying to become the hegemon of the region. They can't do that if there's another big player in the region. Simple as. Start from there. It's not really like China, and of course everything else has a factor because this is a global conflict, but that's not the reason. It's not even the secondary reason. So people will make it anything other than this is about Israeli ambition. That is the crux of all of this. We're sending in the special training squad to take Karg. Yeah, imagine. I mean, look, yeah, trainees when their opponents aren't a bunch of school children. Yeah, trainees when their enemies aren't a bunch of like, unarmed 10-year-olds. All of a sudden, where are they? Where'd they go? Why are they not signing up for this? We should send in the trainee berserker squads. Libs still think we are in Obama era. I didn't vote either. I'm more referring to Tucker and other dissidents. Yeah, well, credit where credit's due. Tucker is speaking out against this. Hard to say what his motivations are or what Tucker is. He is somewhat of an anomaly, but he is one of the more vocal opponents of this war. So I appreciate that. We judged Obama too harshly, yeah. Yeah, isn't it crazy we'd be nostalgic for the Obama presidency? Who would have thought? This is like literally the worst case scenario. I remember thinking about this, and again, not a difficult prediction to make, but you know, back when we were sort of like in 2020, when we're wondering like, well, Trump kind of sucks, but like, you know, this is height of the pandemic and whatever, you know, mass censorship, everyone was blackpilling, and it's like, you know, yeah, Obama or like Joe Biden, like with things going now, like they want to like kill us all and you know, censorship and all of this and whatnot. Everyone was very histrionic. You know, people were thinking we have never come out from under lockdown. This is it. This is the end game. The digital ID, you know, social credit score, central bank digital currency. It's all here, global. And we gotta vote for Trump. You know, that was like kind of the narrative in 2020. And I remember thinking to myself, like, literally, unironically, the worst case scenario is that Trump is a Trojan horse, that he betrays everybody. That is literally the darkest timeline. Because he has the cult of personality. A lot of people will follow him to their grave, no matter how many times he stabs them in the back. And all of this energy that could go to somewhere more effective, like real. Actually, America first. Is getting absorbed by MAGA, is getting absorbed by Trump. It's a pressure release valve. And we just lose time. And that's exactly what's happened. You know, Trump was a Trojan horse. None of his promises have been fulfilled. And you see how people are still like on the plantation and they're not getting off. So. Not even Takaichi of Japan is sending Godzilla. I know. That bitch, right? Crazy. They are manipulating the oil market so much that they're going to end up with a short squeeze situation. And boom, 150 oil per barrel. Possible, yeah. Possible, very possible. Like the Chinese are now, I know this is China and not America, but they're stocking up on oil. Super long lines at the pump. They're hoarding right now. Anything for our greatest ally. Yeah. Denmark / Greenland is dropping Legos on Karg. Yeah, those fucking Danish. I would like to see the... I don't even... How do you do a Danish accent? You know? Yeah, these Islamic terrorists, they're going to have a very good time when they step on this Lego, yeah? That was terrible. Whatever. The next bit. Hey, Lego City, man. Yeah. Everything was awesome. Is your favorite Lego song? That was a fun movie. You must build the ICBM to protect the Holy Land. Are we making it out of Legos? Ship evangelical boomers to the front line. I agree. Yeah. And all these people that are in support of this war, you go fight it. Mark Levin, stood up. Stood up, bro. Your people need you. You know, there's something really contemptible about people that are like, that know they personally cannot fight this war or are unwilling, and were completely unwilling in the past when they could, to fight any war, advocate for just this kind of stuff. So flippantly, so brazenly. I think in a perfect world, our leaders would have a military background, and that just makes sense. You're going to be commander-in-chief of the armed forces. I would hope that you spent your entire career commanding the armed forces. Like, that's just, to me, you know, as a martial people, I think we should have military leaders. Obviously, for the time being, like right now, it probably wouldn't make sense because they're all Zog, but I'm saying in an ideal world, that would be the case, because I think your leaders should understand that. I know that mentality. I've seen many examples in other countries, and this method was used by colonial powers. Which mentality are we talking about? Oh, I won't be shocked if Trump had a major scandal with Israel because his support for them is illogical, and that war harms American people. Look at the gas prices now. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair look. Part of it is he's obviously economically in bed with a bunch of Jewish Zionists. Like, first of all all of his children except for Barron are married to Jews. His empire that he built out of New York City, he did with the help of Jews. You can't really get far, especially in New York, without the blessing of these Jewish real estate developers. You know, his father was a Philo-Semite too. Jared Kushner. Not to mention, I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard about this, but apparently the admin is going to be rewarded, what, $10 billion in this deal that's going through with Larry Ellison. How is that, like, come on now, come on. And so even before you talk about like some kind of maybe blackmail, like Trump's interests are very much like his personal financial interests have been very much aligned with Jews and Zionists for a very long time. You know, even before years before he even ran for president. And look, he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. And so if there is some kind of more nefarious blackmail on him, I mean, that would be believable. But either way, just by nature of him not wanting to go to jail and his entire empire being built on these business deals with these Zionist Jews, that alone, you could sort of see, okay, well, that's a pretty strong incentive. You know, I don't know if he's on camera like fucking kids or whatever. Who knows? But definitely they have some kind of incentive on him. Some kind of, he's controlled in some way. Who knows? Maybe he just really believes in this mission. Maybe he is a true believer. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's the most likely explanation because I think he's just purely self-absorbed. Like, I don't think he's like some crazy evangelical that wants to bring about the end times so that Jesus can return. I just think he's purely self-absorbed and he wants to do what he thinks is in his best interests, and he believes that that's working with the Jews in this case, whether it's to stay out of prison or to protect his own assets. And what he might think is in his legacy, the best interest of his legacy, which is being torched right now. And it is like maniacal because I wouldn't put it past him. Some part within him probably wants to be that president that dropped a nuke, you know? I'm a tough guy. I dropped the nuke. Yeah, I did it. I wouldn't put that past him, to be honest. So. A social security check will be mailed out that far. Yeah, real. Imagine all the boomers go to the front line. You know, instead of like, you know how like in World War II they had like the picture of their fiance and their like their helmet and shit. They just have like their social security check. That seems to be all fucking boomers care about. I have problems with Iran as a Saudi because they attack residential and civilian areas, and we did not participate in the war against them. But I say, well, you are essentially though. Like, where are the American bases? Well, you know, who is Saudi Arabia allying themselves with America and Israel? So you are very much a part of the war. Even if Saudi Arabia isn't contributing like the full weight of their armed forces, they are very much on the side of Israel and America. But I say Iran has the right to attack Israel and America because they attacked them first. I don't care if people will hate me or say things about me. Yeah, I mean, like that, but that's just it. So like Saudi Arabia. And did you hear about this? There's reports that secretly, you know, the Saudis want America to hit Iran harder. It's like, okay, so clearly they want this war to escalate. So I hate to say it, man, it's just the truth, but your country is just every bit, if not more, controlled by Israel than America is. And this is what I'm talking about. Even if you have a problem with the Iranians, look, I have no affinity with the Palestinians or the Iranians or the Arabs. Like, I don't have a dog in that hunt. Like, I don't, you know, I'm not waving the Iranian flag or anything. I don't want infinity Iranians or Palestinians to come into my country. But very clearly, Iran winning this conflict against Israel is in my best interests. And I promise you that it is not in your interests for Israel to become the uncontested hegemon in the Middle East. That's not in your interests living in the peninsula. So. Sorry I'm late. Hit the like button, fellow goy. Yeah, hit the like button. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Say gang is all here. Let's go. WW. Hippo wins comment of the evening with the Godzilla comment. You sir win the internet. Oh, that's good. Oh man. Danes sound like funny Swedes. Heard Australia has 14 days of oil left. I don't know. I mean, maybe in reserves, but you know, I don't think that means they're gonna run out of oil in 14 days. If anything, they'll just start rationing and they'll just buy it from somewhere else, and it'll cost them a lot of money, but they're not gonna run out of oil in 14 days. Iranian diaspora and tribe people need to go fight this war. Yeah, let's send Patrick Bet David. And all of the TikTok hoes that are cheering this on. Like, honestly, disgusting people. It is kind of crazy how people come here and they are so invested in this foreign war that, and like they're like advocating against the interests of their people. Either way you spin it, if they're American and they're supporting this war, like an Iranian American supports this war, okay, this war is not in the interest of your people as an American. And if you still consider yourself Iranian, this war is not in the interests of the Iranians. Like, literally, whether, like, if you're part of the Iranian diaspora and you come to America, and you're in support of this war, no matter how you spin it, you are a traitor to your people. You are a fucking traitor to your people. You're a traitor to Americans and you're a traitor to Iranians. That's like a double scumbag combo, dude. It's just insane. It's just fucking insane. And like, why would we even give a shit? Like, okay, so somebody comes here and then now we're gonna, look, the Iranians support this war. Why do we fucking care? Why do we care about the diaspora that left their country to come here? Now they're gonna dictate what we should care about as Americans? No, I don't think so, man. I don't fucking think so. I don't care what Patrick Bet David has to say. Sorry, buddy, but you've got to go back. You feel so strongly, you should have stayed there. Just like, dude, this is like, when you talk about beware of foreign entanglements, man, this is 101 stuff. Mellow Chain Kumquat could take card, call the dropship. We're dropping, where we dropping, boys? Where we dropping? We're flying in the C-130. All right, where we dropping? Where we dropping? I played this mission in Battlefield 3. I played that map. I've prepared my entire life for this. I know exactly where to go. We're going to drop in and we're going to capture the C flag first. Trust me, guys. That's the strat. That's the strat. And then I'm going to get in the attack helicopter. I'll pilot because, Ching, you suck at piloting. You could be in the gunner. Just trust me. And we'll farm these crops. We'll farm these Iranians. Just trust me, guys. I've done this before. I've played this. Tell Kumquat that the Moose have 100 Goth Latino baddies in custody. Yeah, that'll rouse him. And there are still doubts about him because his actions do not serve America and do not make America great again. Crime rates have not decreased. The homeless problem has not diminished, and there are issues with health insurance. What exactly made America great again? Or let's make America terrorist again. well, I don't think America was ever a terrorist country. I'm American. I resent that statement. But look, America's done a lot of, I'd be remiss if I said America didn't do some amount of harm in the world at times. And I think this is one of those times. And again, it's not us as like your everyday Americans that are supporting this. Like, it is very much, our country is captured. We are not a sovereign country. So the problem is not America in essence. The problem is, this fifth column, this subvertive force that is captured our country, is taking it over. And like that's the problem. He'll get U.S. citizenship. Oh well, no, Kumquat's a U.S. citizen. Israel is a small country, and they're going to keep 100 tortas. Yeah, fight for the tortas. Yeah, the 1,000-pound bomb. 1,000-pound torta pound. 1,000 torta pounder bomb. That's what we're doing. Yeah. It's not a problem with the Iranians. They usually don't get emotional about the things we make mistakes in. But for example, what is the benefit of attacking airports in the Gulf? Economic damage. Because the Gulf, one, they want to strain supply lines because they want to do economic damage to the Gulf, because they want to strain the relationship between America, Israel, and these other countries, because it has to be economically painful for them. And another one of the two biggest industries for the Gulf is energy, oil, and tourism. How do you get to the country? Primarily through airports. So if they can shut down travel and shut down logistics, shut down trade routes, then they're hurting both of those sectors. And now it becomes a very painful conflict for the Gulf countries or for the Gulf countries, and they're going to put pressure on America, on Israel, to end the war. So that's why they're targeting these and again, it's like, also remember, where are the American bases? They're in these Gulf countries. So it's like, these countries, these Gulf countries, are not impartial. They are on the side of Israel and America. How could you possibly claim they're impartial if you have American bases operating out of these countries? It's just like, okay, well, naturally then you're going to hit these countries, because if the targets are if the American bases are in these countries, it's like, maybe then the idea is you put pressure on these countries to kick Americans out of their bases so they can stop getting bombed. Put pressure on these countries to then put pressure on America and Israel to sever those alliances, even the tenuous ones. So that's why. Also, the attack comes from Israel, not from the American bases in our country. Be a fair person. No, there have been attacks. What are you talking about? There have been attacks from the American bases. I mean, like, they're staging in those regions. But it's like, understand, America is bombing Iran. So even if you just have like an American observation post or whatever, that is a target Iran can hit. You can't really, like, Iran can't hit our Navy, per se, but they can't hit these American bases. They're in a war. They're going to hit the things that they can hit. The Navy off of the Gulf just moved another, like, 700 or so kilometers away from Iran to outrange them, because they have a much longer standoff distance than Iran has. Meaning they can launch airstrikes and missiles from further away than Iran can retaliate. So Iran's going to hit the targets that they can hit, these stationary targets that can move, that are well within range. And look at what America and Israel are doing. America and Israel are hitting all of the infrastructure now in Iran. They're going after desalination plants. They're going after the oil. Do people have any idea what that's going to do to the Iranian people? If they completely destroy the desalination plants, like Iran will, like, you'll see a lot of people die. A lot of people will die because they are completely dependent on desalination. And even if, like, even if they take out the plants, there's no way you could possibly ship in enough water to hydrate 90 million people. It's not possible. So that, like, actually taking out the desalination plant would, like, cause a Holocaust. That would be like a total genocide. So Dan Bazillion put Patrick Bet David in a verbal headlock. PBD was flailing. I didn't watch that. The concept of liberation via invasion, bombs, and missiles seems logically flawed. I've never bought it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just been used as rhetoric, really. But again, it's like not, it's for the same reason. It's just a pretense. It's not real. It's like saying that, you know, weapons of mass destruction. It's when really it's about Israeli ascendancy. It's not really rocket science. They will just say stuff that they think is more convincing, that is more in your interest to sell it to you. They're not going to outright say we're fighting this war so Israel can become the hegemon. Like, yeah, who would buy that? Who would be convinced that we should go to war based on that rhetoric? So they retreat to something they think is more persuasive. And it's rarely ever entirely true. Iranian monarch diaspora is telling a country who overthrew a monarch to install a diaspora, all while never planning to go back to the country. Make it make sense. Yeah. Oh, cool. So the war's over. You can go back now. I doubt they're ever going back. What's up, Hawker? How's it going, dog? The airports are ports as well. It's where things go in and out. Yeah. This is an economic war as well. That's why, again, like, the more pain that the world feels, the more pressure the world is going to put on American Israel to end the war. Oh, wow. Well, uh-oh. What is this? Oh, this is the guy. This is the John Curacao, this fucking clown that Sneako's been interviewing. CIA got the call, bro. He's literally CIA. Like, you know, like, the guy in the CIA got the call. Do you know what the CIA is? Do you know what the CIA is? What are we doing? What are we talking about? What are we conversing about right now? Hi, Stinko. Apologies for late text. I regret to inform you that we just received this text message from CAA. We are unaware as to what those legal reasons are. However, we want to let you know. Hi, Ben. At this time, John will be unavailable to participate in tomorrow's live stream due to legal reasons. You just waste a lot of my time and energy. I understand. I apologize for doing so. CIA, okay, like, yeah, this guy that's hating on Nick. What else? He was spreading some other theory. Crazy, dude. Crazy. The Iran war is the least populous war at the jump. That is true. That is true. Okay, why did you do that with Oman when Oman was the one who support Iran? Well, really, it's well, primarily the Houthis. Israel and the United States are pretending to be victims again. Yeah. Yeah. Israel and the United States care about the Iranian people just as much as they care about the Palestinians. I agree with part of what you said, but your statement is not entirely correct because of Iraq attacking Kuwait and Iran. Wait, Iran attacked Saudi Arabia for the existence of those bases. That's why the American bases were established there. I wish we were a country that never depended on America. I see America and Israel as equally guilty, but you have to be someone who speaks the truth. Again, and this is part of the problem. I'm not saying that, like, Iran played their cards perfectly either. Like, there is guilt on like, they are guilty of this as well. Why is it that all of these Middle Eastern countries are bombing each other and have been for a while when they should have been teaming up against the greater threat? You can just as much, maybe to an extent, you can also blame Iran for I think, a failure in diplomacy and a failure of foresight to acknowledge the situation. So I'm not, let me make myself clear. I'm not exempting Iran from any blame here. I think they should have played their cards differently. They probably should have gotten the nuke and things would have been different. There should have been this greater Muslim alliance, you know, Sunnis, Shiites. They should have done that when it came to fighting against the Israeli aggression. But look at them now. UAE is losing 1 million per minute. That's pretty keck. Gotta go. Hope you're feeling better. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I do feel better. Good luck, though. Stay safe. Stay safe. Did you hear Kazakhstan is sending its navy to the Strait of Hormuz? I did not hear that. There's a lot of news going on, and so I'm not picking up everything. They have a navy? Is that a meme? Kazakhstan actually have a navy? What is their navy? Like a fishing boat? Grape Sneeko. Yeah. Sneeko defended Professor Jang against Nick. Yeah, dude, it's just like, there's just something going on with Sneeko, man. He is just like clearly bitter about something. Like, clearly he feels just straight, like Nick just makes him feel small. He just makes him feel stupid and inferior. I think that's really about as simple as it really is. I think that's simple. Sneeko, that I think has for much of his life had some kind of identity crisis. In some part resents a lot of what Nick talks about. You know, white country, Christianity, all of that stuff. And Sneeko doesn't feel like he fits into that as a Asian, Filipino, Hungarian Jew, Muslim. You know, it's like he's just like confused and resentful. And I think that is one of the pitfalls of race mixing, straight up. You get people that are just like that are confused, and you know, he's looking for his people. He's looking for the truth, maybe. And when he sees Europe and when he sees Christianity, he sees like he sees sort of an extension of white European colonialism. That's how a lot of these people see it, and that's where I think a lot of the resentment is coming from. And Nick just blows him out of the water. You know, as far as like political analysis goes, it's like they're not even in the same universe. And so, like, he sort of outsources some of these critiques, the ankle-biting critiques against Nick or America First or Christianity, to these people he thinks that are more credentialed. And that also sort of buffers him from certain criticism. You know, he'll platform these people, and so he can say, well, I didn't say it. Don't call me a brown clown. I didn't say it. Professor Jang said it. And I think that's somewhat cowardly. And again, it's like, look, man, how are you going to say Goyim unite, and then you're going to platform people that like call Nick a Fed? It's like this guy that came out of fucking nowhere, Professor Jang, who's not even a professor, doesn't have a PhD, you know, doesn't teach at a college. He's a high school teacher that teaches like 3 people in his lectures or whatever, you know, with ties to the Chinese government. Like, you know Nick personally, bro. You're like super tight with Nick. Like, how, like that, where's the fucking loyalty, man? Where is the loyalty? You see what I like? It's just like some people are just incapable of letting this resentment go. And look, to that extent, it's not even just like Sneeko or like Muslims or just brown people in general. It's like, look at how many white people. Look at like Orville. You would think that he would be Nick's biggest fan. Instead, he's just been doing nothing but ankle biting. Just can't let this resentment go. Why? Because of some disagreement? Why? Because they're jealous that Nick is the guy and not you with your little farm or whatever? Because Nick's vision is much more effective. A lot of it is just personal. And that's why, man, it's like, you people really are just fucking... You're just goy, man. Goy mentality. People are goyim. Like, when push comes to shove, dude, Jonathan Greenblatt and Ben Shapiro are retweeting each other, okay? Bygones are fucking bygones. And yeah, it's like, you see shit like this, and despite all of the stuff we've seen, we still get ankle biting. We still get, like, little snipes and attacks. And like I said, man, you're telling the team to rush B, and your teammate is solo peeking long A dry and getting one tap because, like, he hates the person who made the call. Lock the fuck in, bro. It's just crazy. Sneeko streams are just him regurgitating talking points and people smarter than him. And look, I've said this for a long time, man. You can tell, first of all, he's like a perpetual little bro. He's very malleable. He's very influenceable. But you can tell when somebody just goes into regurgitation mode. When they flip us, like, it's like this. Like, he looks off to the side and you can tell he's like recalling a script. He's talking about, well, the woke ideology is turning your kids gay and this, that, and the other, and these Zionist Jews just want you to die for Israel. And you could tell he's like just remembering stuff. He's had like the bullet points. He's trying to recall the bullet points from the back of his head. Their rhetoric. NPC behavior, honestly. So. Is Sneeko making wine? Lots of wine, dude. Lots of wine. He's watching some other guy make wine with his girl. Damn. That used to be a complaint of female conservative commentaries. Yeah, and so it's like, I'm sure there's a good guy in Sneeko. Like, because we've seen it. We've seen Sneeko be loyal at times. We've seen Sneeko look out for Nick. Like during that stream with Clavicular where they had that stream sniper and he called it and said, okay, let's get out of here because it's not safe. I just think he's a conflicted person, man. I think he's got a struggle going on. And I don't want to make this a whole like psychoanalyze Sneeko or anything. Because like, let's be fair, he has taken blows for being friends with Nick. He did platform Nick at a time when it was very unpopular to do so. So I don't want it to just be the pile on Sneeko train. But bro, you gotta put that aside, man. You just gotta lock the fuck in, man. And let bygones be bygones. And just stop being Muslim. Okay? Like, you were raised Catholic. Like, he was baptized Catholic. Come back to Rome. Like, he's at the cube right now. He's loaded up the Minecraft world. He's dancing around the cube. I saw him posting that. And I'm just like, dude, okay, then stay there. Stay there. So I don't know, man. It's just, I can see a good person in Sneeko, but he's just, again, he's conflicted. You can tell he's a conflicted person. You can tell he's searching, and I think that this is sort of the result of it. It's like he has these moments where he lashes out, and I just think he's a little emotional. I think he's like a little bro. Like, literally. I think that's the best way to describe him. He's like a perpetual little bro. So, I wish him the best of luck, but like, look, man, you just gotta lock in and not ankle bite Nick and just trust him. But that's tough because Nick, again, what Nick is advocating for, like, does it challenges Sneako's identity as a mixed race, non-white, Jewish Muslim. So I can understand why he feels the way that he feels. But again, if you listen to Nick, it's like he talks about there being a solution to this, that we can diminish the pain, the conflict that diversity brings. There's a way forward. So, but a lot of people don't want to hear that because they're just too spun up. Anyway, tensions in the region benefit outsiders. So I wish we could be united without their interference. Yeah, and again, like, that's the problem with diversity, you know? It just breeds conflict, and the Middle East is more diverse than a lot of people know. The only cuck I like is Ye. So true. Shimmers. Kazakhstan is landlocked. Yeah, that's why it's like, what navy do they have? You know, what fucking their navy is a piece of driftwood that they picked up on their way to the Strait of Hormuz. All right, go on your way now. It's some guy in a piece of driftwood with a fucking RPK. That's their navy, you know. I googled landlocked countries to irritate speaker. That just made me laugh, honestly. I'm like, I didn't hear that, but yeah, Kazakhstan. Kazakh naval forces protect the Caspian Sea. Kazakh sea dues. Nico should try to spar Sean Strickland again. How do I feel about Mark Levin right now? Same how I've always felt about him. I don't like him at all. I think he'd be much happier in Israel. Nico versus Gypsy Crusader. Okay, the weight classes exist for a reason. James Fishback is more loyal to Nick than Sneeko. True. True, he's doing pretty well. I hope he wins. I do. I hope he wins. I hope he's the real deal. I really do. I've talked about my feelings on Fishback. He seems to get it. He seems to get that you can't apologize to these people. And I have a feeling he has groypers in his campaign. And again, I think the meta-political victory of that would be huge. That would send such a message if James Fishback won that it almost wouldn't matter. At that point, he would sort of be beholden to some extent, to his base. So I really hope he's the real deal. But even if he isn't, I just want him to be controlled by us in some way. You know, that we can exert some kind of influence over him, sort of like how the Democrats are somewhat constrained by their base. You know, when Joe Biden, when after October 7th, you know, when they were calling him Genocide Joe, there were a number of resignations that made it very difficult for the Biden admin to do anything. Like, I forgot the percentage, but like, it was a significant number of people actually resigned over that conflict. And there's a reason why the Zionists flipped to the Republicans so hard. So my point is there is potential. There's a real victory that could be won there if Fishback wins. I really hope he isn't a snake. But if he is a snake, man, that's one of the best tricks that I've seen. One of the best infiltrations. Anyway. In my province, we have Theodore 2 Tugboat, who's a life-sized replica of a character from Thomas the Train, aka Naval Forces. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I don't even know what you just said. I don't know what. Cool. I guess. My American ears, my American mind can't comprehend that. I heard Mark Levin is 5'2". Pretty funny. I have no idea how small or big he is. We live in Saudi. There's going to be brown clowns outside. Speaking of Catholics, Ted Cruz pushed a long doc against Catholics by Matthew J. Frank. Did he? Who is that? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Matthew J. Frank? Dude, fucking Protestants, man. Ugh. Enough of Sneakos. Show some gypsy fight highlights. I didn't watch it at all. Honestly, I did not care about that in the slightest, to be honest. I'm glad that One-Eyed McCain lost the other day. Did he? I haven't been following that. Isn't Gypsy like half Indian? Like, isn't Gypsy Crusader half Indian? Anyway. Yeah, housing crisis. I mentioned this a little while ago that closings on house sales is like at an all-time low ever. Or sorry, worse than 2008. I don't know if it's the all-time worst. But everyone's clowning on DLSS 5. Fucking
came out about my uncensored business in.
Who cares? I just don't. Am I just a D1 hater? Like, I just do not like the melodramatic Christian music. I've never liked it. I've never liked it. And I think a lot of people tolerate bad music because they like say because it's Christian. I've never been a fan. Never. And I don't think I ever will be. And I'm not saying you can't make like Christian music. It's just like this is just so mawkish. I prefer the old school choirs. I like that. I like the choirs. There's a grandiosity to it all. It feels almost otherworldly, like the angels, the choirs of heaven are singing, and that feels so much more divinely inspired than like some guy with an electric guitar, some Protestant with an electric guitar and a fucking bongo drums, you know, something, you know. Maybe I'm being elitist, but never been a fan of the melodramatic Protestant, you know, Christian rock slop. You heard the beef between Megyn Kelly and Mark Levin, right? Is there something new? Gypsy Crusader is... It's crazy. Mel, this is going... I don't hate Gypsy Crusader. But someone indifferent. This is going to be the third time I bring this up. Please don't make me look dumb in front of my friends. Did you see the anime? I thought I mentioned that. Yeah, I did see the anime clip Scorpio crash out. Kind of. Like, cause why? He was defending Kai or something, and then he posted a picture of him with his like fat wife with, oh man, his fat brown wife. Why? And they're like watching Nick together. It's like, dude, you just gotta log off forever, man. Bruh. Fat chubby fingers, like, bruh, torta. Actual, I don't know what. If your wife is fat, bro, it's just, oh my goodness, can you imagine? I don't know what to say. And then he's like, I think he's like, but I don't fucking care, dude. Like, okay, whatever. Just another crash out. Romania from northern India. Yeah, they're also diaspora. Literal gypsy. Choirs and chants are the real good stuff. Yeah, I agree. The Gregorian chants, it's just like, damn, bro. There's something otherworldly about it. You know? Do you think Israel will drop a tactical nuke? I don't think here's the thing. I don't think Israel wants to be the one that drops the nuke. I think they want America to drop the nuke. Because if they drop a nuke, they can't claim that they don't have nukes anymore. Everyone knows they have nukes, but you know, they don't want to be subject to all of the oversight and baggage that comes with being a nuclear power, you know? So they'll threaten everybody with nukes, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but they'll never admit to it. It's like the worst kept secret. But look, if push comes to shove, they'll nuke. Yeah, they'll use nukes if they feel like they need to. But I don't think that's something that's not their first, second, or I think third choice. You know, I think it's all contingent on how things play out. But they definitely want America to use nukes first. So why use their shit when they can get America to use our shit? You know. It got a good laugh out of you. Then he leaked the group chat. Yeesh. Just another crash out. What hasn't, not even close to being the first, likely won't be the last. If you've been here for a while, it's just like, oh, another crash. You know, it's, you know, remember Baked Alaska? Remember Big Tech? Yeah, you remember Judas? At least those people were a little more noteworthy than like anime clips. Whatever. I didn't even know anime clips even existed until he crashed out. So Tom McDonald music is terrible. Don't listen to it. I don't think I've listened to like a single Tom McDonald song. You can learn the whole Latin mass from Vivaldi. True. Corelli is good too. Good shit, man. It's good shit. Classical music is goated. You know? Not always something I would listen to on a day-to-day basis, because like classical music is great. I loved studying the classical music, and I remember I had a music teacher that said, "Really, I feel like I could never focus if I'm listening to something like classical music." I'm like, it just gets you going. It gets you like, you know, it activates more of your brain, more complicated. It's yeah. So, Teddy Feezer apologized. Big Tech has made some noises in favor of Nick. Yeah, dude. Teddy Feezer. Yeah, RPG. Remember? RPG. Red Pill Gang apologized and was brought back into the fold. Hey, look, and you do afford grace. You know. I don't even know what Big Tech's been up to. But all of this stuff is like so niche that people who came in within like the last year or two probably wouldn't know what the hell we're talking about. You know, like this is like kind of like I feel like such an old head now, just crazy. Like when I remember when I got into like AF 5 years ago, I you know, there were old heads talking about the, you know, like the fucking like the YouTube days, you know, and all that. I'm like, damn. And you have people that literally got red pilled last year. Literally started. You have Gorpers that literally came in like, and Kumquat was in before me even. I think he was like, he's like an ancient lorehead. You know, he came in at like what, 20, back when Nick was really in his infancy days, you know. That's like crazy. That's like you are in like ground floor, you feel. Do people still watch Oscars? They've been on your timeline? Yeah, some people are complaining about it. I haven't really been following it. Because, like, I guess Sinners won a lot of awards. I haven't seen Sinners, so I don't really have an opinion. A lot of people say it's like anti-white slop or whatever. I have no idea. I haven't watched it. So I don't have a dog in the hunt, to be honest.
I mean, they look a little bit uncanny, I would say.
Everyone's shitting on DLSS 5. I think I'll stick with 4.5. Of course, the Hispanic is an old head. I think he's Castizo. Isn't that funny? It is true, like, Mexicans really are, like, our greatest, the greatest ally of the white race. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so true. It's like that Star Wars clip with General Grievous. White race savior, 1488. You're browner than I expected. You know, it's like, it's so true. It's so true. Did I play in band? No, I never played in band. Well, in middle school I played violin and viola. In high school I sang in choir. So dude, man. Hey, you know what comes out this week? Ooh, Crimson Desert, baby. 3 days. You guys ready? Are you guys actually ready? I am so ready. I am so ready for Crimson Desert. I'm so excited. Oh, you played the alto sax? Can you play like that jazz, that smooth jazz? Sounded like the ODST soundtrack. Anyway, yeah, dude, Crimson Desert comes out. I've been playing a ton of Marathon. Off topic, but I've been playing a ton of Marathon. I love that game. Am I gonna stream it? I think so. I think maybe that's what I'll do, because normally I've been going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe I'll make the off days just gaming streams, you know? Maybe that's what I'll do. That's probably what I'll do. You were watching Nick back when he was on YouTube? Damn, Hawker, so you're an old head too. Old heads in chat. People that have been around longer than I have. So, crazy. I faked it throughout middle school to get out of class. Damn, so you can't be like, That's crazy. You were just like fingering the instrument, not actually blowing into it. Pause. So you're not this guy, right? You're not. You can't do this, right? Dude, ODST was such a goated game. Michael Salvatore's done a lot of good soundtracks. Obviously Marty O'Donnell, but Salvatore is one of the GOATs. What were we talking about before that? Oh yeah, Old Head and Crimson Desert. Yeah, so I think maybe I'll do that. I'll play games. I'll probably stream tomorrow. I'll probably play some Marathon. Dude, I already have like 50 hours in this game. My friends I've been playing with have more than me. We've been grinding, dude. It's so good. It's so good. It deserves more players. But I will say, I think it's... gotta have 2 friends to play with for the most part. I wouldn't want to play with randoms, and I don't think solos would be a lot of fun because a lot of rats. But if you're into multiplayer shooters, you love PvP, you have sort of a competitive edge to you, dude, this game is like peak, I'm telling you. It's being slept on so hard. So hard. Like, the people that actually play the game got 90% positive reviews. A lot of people are shitting on this game because they're NPCs and they can't think for themselves. But this game really is just peak in a lot of ways. So. Yeah, then for a recital, the older, I assume you mean older kids, were going around asking us to play a note to see if we were in tune, and I was out then and there. Damn, they got your ass, huh? You were exposed. You were just a chud with a saxophone. Damn, they caught your ass. They caught your ass in real time. That's funny. I kind of did something similar when I was playing violin and viola. Like, there were always those kids that like tried so hard and they were super into it. Me, I was like, you know, I played, I kind of did the thing. I would never practice. I would practice sometimes, but yeah. I took choir more seriously because I just thought it was more fun, and I like singing a lot. Which is funny because like when I was going into high school, I'm like, dude, I hate singing. I don't want to sing. You know, didn't want to sing in front of anybody. But I was convinced. I'm like, you gotta try choir. Like, the teacher is awesome. Everybody has a great time. And then I just fell in love with it. So some things are worth trying. You know, you never know what you might end up enjoying. And what you might have a talent for. I ended up being a pretty good singer. So anyway. Exposed as fraud by the old kids, true. They got your ass. They clocked you immediately. That's so funny. Anything new on Telegram? Let me take a peek at Telegram. Ooh, we got a recap by Rerun. I love their recaps. Because, you know, when you have like 250 updates per day, it's nice to get a summary. Alright, day 17 recap. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has been secretly advising Trump to keep hitting Iran hard despite public rhetoric against the war, the New York Times reports. Funny that, huh? Funny that. Israeli forces have begun a limited ground invasion of southern Lebanon. Clashes have been going on for hours between Hezbollah and IDF forces. Hezbollah says they destroyed 5 Merkava tanks throughout the day. Did you see some of the footage of that? Bro, let me see if I can find it real quick. Kind of crazy. Let me see if I can scroll up. Dude, can you imagine like a fucking piece of missile just lands on your roof? Can you imagine? You can almost hear this picture of the screaming Muslim guy. Oh, Allahu Akbar! You can almost hear the picture. You can almost hear the him out in his thobe and his sandals freaking out. That a fucking piece of missile landed on his rooftop. Muslims are funny, man. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Straight up using a TV-guided missile. I use these in Battlefield. I'm somewhat of an expert myself. Right on the hatch, it looks like. Armor is weak there, by the way. So that is a nice shot. Not only on the top of the tank, but on the hatch, too. It looks like. Maybe it hit the gun first, but I have a feeling that was a kill. The dramatic music. Anyway, that was some crazy footage. Iran launched more missile attacks towards central and northern Israel and continues to attack multiple Gulf states. U.S./Israeli attacks continue in Iran, targeting western Iran. We will not be drawn into the wider war. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Lol. Citibank said most of its branches and offices in the UAE will remain closed until further notice. Part of a broader banking industry response to worsening security conditions due to the Iran war, according to Reuters. Yeah, like that. This is really killing them, man. Like things could get really bad. I mean, there's so much money. There's so much money tied up in the Gulf. So. You were in the choir for 3 years? Nice. Yeah, I guess I was a choir kid, huh? But I was also athletic. I did a lot of stuff in high school. I did everything from like math team, did that for a few years, went to state, did volleyball, did that for 3 years. You know, played some varsity. That fucked up my knees. Didn't take good care of my knees. Went to state. Cross country and track my senior year. I wish I did that all 4 years because I had the most fun doing that. You know, the friends I made in cross country track were the best friends I had in high school. Like it was so fun. I honestly had so much fun. Even though running just generally kind of sucks. Yeah, and then I did choir and like a cappella as well for 4 years. So I did a lot actually in high school. Multidisciplinary. Oil loading operations have been suspended at the Fujairah port in the UAE after a drone attack sparked a fire at the refinery. What does Trump expect a handful of European frigates to do that the powerful US Navy cannot? This is not our war and we did not start it. German defense based. For real though. Why would these countries get involved? Why would they put their people in harm's way for something that's not in their interests and they didn't start? European Troika, E3, including Germany, the UK, and France, have rejected Trump's demands to send warships to the Strait of Hormuz to help lift the Iranian blockade. Lamau. Heck. Honestly, just heck. Literally nobody is answering the call for Trump. That is so funny. 3 Pakistani tankers safely transited the Strait of Hormuz in the past 10 days, suggesting Tehran is allowing certain countries safe passage. Axios reported the U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi resumed communication in recent days. Araghchi directly rejected the claim, saying it is absolutely false and an attempt to stabilize oil markets. He reiterated that Iran is not negotiating or communicating with the United States. W. Literally, dude, they're trying everything, man. Please, oil markets, please, stock market, don't crash. Look, we won the war. Look, things are stabilizing. Look, the strait is still open. Yeah. In a joint press release, Germany, France, Italy, Canada, and the United Kingdom opposed a major Israeli ground offensive in Lebanon. W Europeans. A drone directly impacted the Al Rashid Hotel in Baghdad, Iraq. Locals say the hotel is hosting European delegations. Interesting. 2 Gulf-based U.S. minesweeper ships, the USS Tulsa and USS Santa Barbara, left the Gulf and traveled 4,000 miles to Malaysia for what U.S. is calling a logistical stop, according to the Financial Times. I heard rumors that there was a Chinese military buildup near Taiwan. Something like, was it 7 or 16 warships? I haven't seen that corroborated anywhere, though. And it might just be a nothing burger because they've been running exercises all over there for years. Wouldn't read too much into that. U.S. base in Erbil Iraqi Kurdistan was struck by projectiles. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq was targeted by multiple drones and directly struck. Reports indicate an ongoing emergency situation at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel involving a U.S. KC-135 refueling plane. Heard about that. Is this another female pilot? Did you see that, dude? Bruh. Because what likely happened was there were a few days ago, was it like a week at this point? You know, when we had that incident with the two KC-135s, and one of them crashed and the whole crew died. The one that landed and returned, there was clear damage to the stabilizer wing, suggesting there was probably some kind of midair collision. Is that it unironically could just be a female pilot moment. I know that's like maybe a little like, you know, trite at this point, but hey, we talked about it. Since like 2000, you had something like 50% of the issues of some kind of failure, pilot failure, have been attributed to the 10% of DEI hires. 10% of DEI pilots, which include women. 1050. And there's limited data because it doesn't happen that often. You don't have a lot of incidents like that. Flying is generally a very safe occurrence. Happens every day, thousands of times a day. Millions of people are flying a day. But when it does happen, you know, it doesn't look good when 50% of piloting failures are a result of DEI. And you hear reports like the first female U.S. fighter pilot. You know, there are people, whistleblowers, saying that she was very much underqualified for that. They definitely lowered standards for her. She was allowed to like, you know, she failed her test, I think, at least once or twice, and was allowed to do it again, whereas other pilots would have been flunked out. So clearly they changed the standards to accommodate people that really have no business being pilots. And this is the result, man. This is the result. People die, and we become a weaker country. So, feminism wins again. A drone struck oil facilities in... Okay, did we read that already? Fujairah, UAE. A large fire broke out and authorities are working to contain it. Crude oil is trading at 95 per barrel. Brent oil is 103. Interesting. Nick tweet? Why didn't I get an update? Where's the tweet? Where's the tweet? You lying? I see no tweet. I was in the principal's office for about 8 years. Damn. Learn how to behave, Hawker. Trump has been insulting Europe since day one. Why would they help him? Yeah, I mean, clearly he's strained the relationship with Europe. Not exactly good diplomacy, and a lot of like chud conservatives think this is some kind of win. Like, actually, they fail to see the bigger picture. Speakers, massages call it HR. No wonder Greta divorced him. How dare you? How dare you? Where's the Nick tweet? Why are you lying to me? I see no Nick tweet. Explain yourself right now, Smelly. Explain yourself. Damn, bro's cooked. Bro is chopped. Needs to get on the finasteride and minoxidil ASAP. And honestly, if he did that, he'd be fine. And shave the beard. I say that with my rough. I need to shave too. You just received that notification? That's crazy. I wonder when Nick's going live tonight. Dude, fucking... Okay, another thing. Laura Loomer getting fucking, like, BTFO'd by Indians. Just what a, like, a disgusting human being. Honestly, it's like... I find it funny that I'm, like, rooting for the Indians to just, like, shit all over Laura Loomer. Just, like, two terrible... It's just crazy. Because, like, obviously... Or maybe not obviously, but recently... Israel has been making strides in this new relationship with India. You know, they really want India to be their new strategic and economic partner. For reasons, right? Obviously, India has an important location, nuclear power that they want to leverage against these other Muslim countries like Pakistan, for example. But also, India then can benefit from the Jewish diaspora that is allowing all these Indians to go work in European countries. That they send billions back in remittances. So India, that's what India gets out of the relationship. But yeah. Anyway, it's just like a totally like the two of the worst countries ever just teaming up. You know, who could have seen that one coming? Nick is still asleep. He's probably putting his suit on, you know. I wonder what is he going to talk about today? I wonder what he's going to talk about today. Again, it's just like the war just keeps going on. He'll probably talk maybe about the collapsing diplomacy between America and our allies. That's probably what I would want him to talk about tonight. The fact that and what that sort of suggests, you know, where we're going. You know, we've got this war, and it is absolutely, what the fuck? It is absolutely straining our relation. What are we talking about? And it's straining the relationship with our relationship with all these other countries. Dude, I was in college, my freshman year of college, and I was in this group chat with a bunch of other freshmen, and I remember like this one girl, and I went to a very prestigious college. This one girl like asked like if anyone had like a screwdriver she could borrow, because she had like some screws she had to screw in for some desk or some like bookshelf or something. And someone asked like, oh yeah, sure, like what kind of screw is it? Like, you know, take a picture. She takes a picture of this screw, of the fucking side profile of this screw. You know, I think I have some screws here. Not the head of the fucking screw, but like literally, I've got a bag of them here. Like the picture was not the head of the screw, you know, the thing you would need to determine which kind of screwdriver you need, but like literally she took a picture like this. Yeah, this is the kind of screw I have. Oh, great. Oh, great. Yeah, that's helpful. Engineering student, by the way. Engineering student, by the way. Holy shit. She was a fucking dingbat. Trump is acting like a bully. Everyone except Netanyahu. True. Laura Loomer is Jewish Jigsaw. She's so fucking chopped. It's insane. India has a Zionist-occupied government too. They're just like the biggest goy. Actually, they're competing for top goy. Crazy. Maybe Tucker getting pushed out of the White House. Tucker's son Buckley works for JD. I don't know. We'll see. You be screwing yourself? That's crazy. That's crazy. What a dummy. How often does Nick come on? Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30 Central sharp. They're trying to put Tucker in prison out here. Yeah, it's really bizarre. It's hard to say exactly what's going on. I feel like there's just some kind of internal spy game going on. in the intelligence agencies. That's really where I'm at. I'm not quite sure whose interests Tucker is representing, because he does seem to have his tendrils out a little bit. He's got a house out in Qatar, right? That's a little weird. You know, he's out there doing diplomacy. It does feel like, you know, is this like some kind of like WASP rebellion against the you know, sort of the Zionist occupied government? It just feels like this is like a faction conflict that we're not privy to. You know, it's like it's internal almost. There's something going on there. I don't know for sure. It's very opaque. You know, maybe it has something to do with foreign influence, but yeah, something's going on. They're sending threats to him. Somebody hijacked his nicotine pouch truck delivery, and did it in a way that is likely only like an organized intelligence agency could do, by providing like fake credentials. Like that was a message. So they are trying to fuck with him, but I don't know exactly who he represents. Definitely scary. Tucker's in bed with Teal, Elon, Murdoch, definitely factional warfare going on. Yeah, but at the same time, like, Teal is also in bed with the Israelis and Mossad, you know? So it might just be purely self-interest. But, yeah. Because, he was a big JD guy. You know, he was pushing Trump to choose JD. Like, that is not a mystery. So, what the hell is this? Is this AMD Adrenaline software? Do I have that installed? I think I do. Yeah. Maybe I should uninstall that. If I don't have an AMD, it's probably not a problem for me. I don't really use it. I haven't installed, but maybe I should uninstall it. There's a lot of DEI in prestigious colleges too. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, she was white. I think she was legacy though. You'd be surprised, man. There's a lot of like smart people that like test well. They study, they know how to take tests and stuff, that really don't know shit about anything. Like the practical. And I think for the most part, I think saying that some people don't test well is a cope. But there are, I think, exceptions. Like, in other words, I think if you have good test scores, you're probably smart. I think there's a real correlation between how your ability to take tests and your intelligence quotient. But I do think that there's more to it than that, and I think this is an example of that. Like, this is somebody that definitely tested well. I think she said she got good grades. Maybe she was lying. But you don't get into the school without good grades. I think that's just, honestly, I think that's just a woman moment. I think that's just like a woman thing. You know? Reminds me of like Candace said she didn't know that thunder came from lightning. You know? And her female producer also didn't know that. I think it's just one of those woman things that they kind of just don't know how things work. You know? To memorize things, take tests, maybe learn how to solve equations, but like rotating an object 90 degrees in their mind is too challenging for them. They're not good with spatial awareness. They really struggle with that. Classic example, the basic question, like if this were still full, if there was liquid in here, I know this is, you probably heard this before, like entry-level question. I had to take this kind of test to see if I had to test, and I got like a really high score on it. Just basic spatial awareness for engineering. What would, if this were filled with liquid, what would it look like if you tilted it somewhat? Where would the water line be? For most guys, it's a pretty straightforward question. Oh, it probably, if the water were here, it would probably look like this. It would be, parallel with the ground, because that's how gravity works, right? And women fucking struggle with that question. They're like, it's here, you know, it's you know, they're all over the place. Like, so clear, like there's something going on there with women and their ability to understand spatial reasoning. Mike Pompeo is a Zionist, but he stopped Trump from awarding the Jedi Cloud to Azure DevOps in Israel. Yeah, I don't think it's always as like cut and dry, too. There isn't much difference. One faction of Zionists spit and the other swallows. I guess, but again, like, they really don't like Tucker. I don't think he's an ideological Zionist either. Like, I don't think he's like out there kissing the wall, believing in end time prophecies. He's like allied himself with Israel in some degree. He says, I love Israel. There's something else going on. I don't know. I don't think they would be fucking with him this hard if he really were some kind of Zionist like that. If they didn't think he was a real threat, I don't think they would fuck with him like this. So I think there is a difference. I'm just not quite sure what it is between, you know, maybe not for like, you know, Mike Huckabee, but for Tucker. I don't know. There's something going on there. Megyn Kelly called Mark Levin micro penis Mark. Yeah. And look, a lot of it could just also maybe be explained by, look, sometimes people, maybe not in the instance of Tucker, but a lot of these other people, they just have personal beef with each other. That's always like a very plausible explanation. Yeah, people don't like each other. And sometimes they have public feuds, you know? Women are not nearly as good at problem solving. That's true. Is what it is. So. Anyway, well, dude, when is Nick going live? Holy shit. He didn't cancel, did he? It's like almost 11 o'clock, dude. Anyway. Maybe I'll play some Marathon. I'm like so addicted to Marathon, dude. Those are the games I've been playing. Nick is eating? Yeah, he probably is. I've been playing Counter-Strike. I've been kind of shitting the bed in Counter-Strike lately. I'm like in a slump. I have not been locked in CS. But Marathon is a different story. I've been farming a Marathon. And it's not even like a hard game. I'll just play with my friends and we'll just wipe lobbies. We only really lose when we like troll and do stupid shit. But I think what I might try to do, I might, okay, for organizational reasons, what I'll probably try to do whenever I switch to like gaming, I might just make, is this a smart idea? Make a new stream on YouTube so that you don't have this, because when I update the title and everything, it like that's what it is then, you know, and then I would have to go back and change the title and all that. So it might just be easier to like end this for organizational purposes in the algorithm, like end this stream and like start a new stream. But I might just save all that for tomorrow. I might just do a gaming stream tomorrow instead, and yeah, maybe Tuesday and Thursday I'll do gaming streams because, you know, I honestly, like me not going live on Friday, I've been a little checked out. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little checked out. A lot of this stuff is really exhausting, and I've sort of just been enjoying just like some blue pill, non-political content. I'm not gonna lie, dude. You think Trump is playing 4D chess again? No, I don't think he knows what 4D chess is. I just enjoyed playing video games, hanging out with friends, you know, in Discord and all that. Even watching a little bit of anime. You know, I was sitting there like 2 weeks ago and I'm like, dude, I just need like something. I need something. I don't know. I just want something, you know, some stupid shit to like, you know, turn my mind off of it. You know, get my mind off of all this nonsense. Because it's like 2 weeks ago, man, it was fucking dark. It was a dark, it was really dark. Yeah. And yeah, and I've just been enjoying that too. You know, some good anime, I guess. I know a lot of people are like super anti-anime. I'm a free thinker, okay? I'm a free thinker. A lot of chuds are like, anime's for weebs. You're a weeb. Dude, I enjoy all kinds of things, okay? I'm not a fucking NPC. Like all these people, same people that are like hating on Marathon. It's Concord 3. It's like, you are incapable of free thinking, okay? You need to be told what to enjoy. I enjoy things. I find enjoyment in a lot of different things, even if it's not Leheckin based. You like Game of Thrones? Try Lord of the Rings. That's based on Catholic. Shut the fuck up, okay? It's like people take out the woke chip. I'm not woke, and they'll put in the Leheckin based and red pill chip, and it's like, dude, not everything needs to be super based. Not everything needs to be like red pilled, okay? Like Nick was talking about like watching iCarly. You know how many like trad cats out there would like crash? You're watching a kid's show on Nickelodeon. Get a load of this guy. It's like, okay, you are a chud. You are an NPC chud. Free thinkers, free real human beings, not afraid to talk about things they enjoy or guilty pleasures or whatever. So yeah, sometimes I like a little bit of anime. You know? Fucking sue me. Everyone is black-pilled, including MAGA tards. Yeah, it's pretty rough, man. It's pretty rough. So I've just been enjoying watching like just total like, yeah. Just kind of getting away from it. Getting Marathon booted up. What am I, your fucking monkey? Dance monkey, do this now, monkey. Is that Alex Jones on the screen? I don't know who that is. That's Nick right there, though. So. Yeah, I think I'll do a gaming stream tomorrow. I think that's the move. I think I'll break it up. Yap streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the serious shit, and then Tuesday, Thursday will just be, you know, just fun. Just fun. I do. This can be exhausting. Just covering all of it. And it needs to be done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a bitch here, but, you know, everybody needs a reprieve. Everybody needs a reprieve, you know. I am like tired of, like, not everything is like a perpetual grind, you know. I do kind of resent how people in this day and age, they like, there's this belief that you have to be working and grinding 24/7. The whole hustler grind set mentality. It's like, dude, you are a goy. You are a slave. You are like your best little goy. And don't get me wrong, it's one thing if you're working on like your business or your thing and you're obsessed. Like that's cool and all, but like I just like leisure is actually really important. It's also a gift and you shouldn't neglect yourself. It's one thing if like you love your work or whatever and like there's a perfect overlap. You find your niche, your passion, and you're fortunate enough to make that your career. But a lot of the shit online is just like another grift. These people selling like their online courses. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. and I get my first workout in by 4. I'm in the gym. I'm getting it. 2 hours. Full. I get home, raw eggs. 4 raw eggs in my mouth. Yummy. Protein. Why? Because I'm hard. Because I'm hard like that. I'm on the grind. 10 a.m. First business meeting of the day. I'm wearing my suit, so you know it's important. 10:15 a.m. I splash my face with cold water just to keep myself alert, awake, aware, locked in. Let's go. 12 p.m. I have a lunch with some foreign business partners. We're talking about business. Important things, of course. 2:30 p.m. I get the second workout in the day because you gotta stay grinding. You gotta stay grinding. You gotta stay grinding. I got my mouth tape on. I've got it going. No music because you gotta stay locked in. 4:30, steak dinner. 2,500 calories in this meal alone. That's how I stay lean year round. 9% body fat, by the way. And it's like, dude, you're full of shit, man. Like, you're full of shit. You know, like, there's just these more, like, ridiculous routines. And it's like, yeah, no, no, thank you, bro. Like, what you're a robot? Like, what is this? I'm supposed to be impressed? Buy my course. Shut the fuck up, man. Everybody's just trying to sell you something. Everyone's just trying to steal your attention span. Everyone's just trying to steal minutes away from your life. I'm so over so much of that. AJ's been hitting the bottle hard lately. Yeah, he's been going through a lot, man. I get it. He's finally realizing the extent of the betrayal. Yeah, I tried to hold on for so long. It's supposed to get down to 22 degrees here tonight in Arkansas. Damn. Well, it snowed here in Chicago. It's snowing today. Halfway through March. Mello's hard rant, yeah. All these guys just trying to get super hard and staying hard, and it's like, okay, dude. Yeah, you're such a tough guy. You're such a tough guy. Yeah, you're such a genius entrepreneur with your fucking dropshipping course. Okay. And like, don't get me wrong, you should work hard, but it's just as a lot of things, as this tends to happen, it's sort of just turns into another hustle, another grift, another, you know, kind of like normies get their hands on things, it becomes commercialized, and it just starts to suck. Like, same thing sort of happening to looks maxing, you know? Ugh. Trump may have kicked off a worldwide recession. When is impregnating the wife scheduled? Yeah, that's 4:17 p.m. And you gotta bust quickly because you're on a tight schedule. 30-second sex, tops. 2 pumps. My wife is pregnant. Why? Because top tier sperm. I take all my supplements. You buy my supplements. 15% off. Use code HARDALWAYS at checkout. Hard always, one word, all caps, for 15% off your sperm pills. It's been in the 90s. The AC has been on. Yeesh. Yeah, I would rather it be cold than super hot, to be honest. That's me personally. Maybe the Unabomber wasn't crazy. Whoa. Whoa, first time? What is it, 2017? What is it, 2017 again? The Unabomber? Yeah. Ah. Yep. I don't think it looks that bad. I don't know. Everyone's shitting on DLSS 5. There's a little bit of uncanniness. But like the game was already kind of uncanny. Like that straight up looks better to me. Maybe because it's more vibrant and the lighting looks better. There's a little more contrast. I don't know. Some people just want to hate on everything. Yeah, Leo got on the D-blow protocol. Now he's looking pretty suave again. We can actually see like some jawline going on there. Crazy. 22 degrees in Arkansas, but Friday's supposed to be 88. Damn, that gives you some whiplash, huh?
Every stand-up comedian was like, oh, you're Catholic? That's good to child molestation. To whatever degree that's true, It's way worse in synagogues.
True.
Fucking public schools. I think public
True.
schools have a 10x higher rate of child abuse than Catholic Church. So if you're going to be scared of something, you should be scared of public schools. What you need to provide for your children,
I think it's even
is
higher than that.
protection.
I read it was like, I think 18 times higher in synagogues. And, like, do I have this right? Like 60 times higher in public schools than Catholic priests abusing children.
From pharmaceuticals.
I wonder who could be behind that propaganda. You know, pushing the whole Catholic, molestation stuff. They were all in California, W. Arkansas. You think Andrew Tate is still a top G? Nah, bro fell off. Bro fell off. He's been falling off for a while. And look, I get it. Like, there's nuance there. Okay, he's done his part. He should have ridden off into the sunset years ago, I think. But he wants to stay out of prison. And he said as much. And that's the thing. So he said, and his brother said, they were rooting for JD Vance and Trump because they wanted to stay out of prison. And Alex Jones said a similar thing. They were really worried that the Democrats would have just gone after him wholesale. And it's like, okay, it's sort of like, all right, I appreciate your guys' sacrifice, but you understand that is another form of control. That is another form of coercion. Threat of imprisonment. So even if you're not like straight up taking money, by you being out of prison and collecting your bag, that is still another form of coercion. That is another form of control. And it's not as bad as like, taking money, but you are under duress. Like you are not like a free operator in that regard. So you got to keep that in mind when it comes to, and I love Alex, but it's also true. It was true for him. It is what it is. Like, we're in a war here. That's why it's like, I like, you can't go too hard on some of these people because they have sacrificed a lot. But you have to sort of take what they say on certain topics with a grain of salt because they're very much personally invested. Like their free existence kind of, at least in their minds, depended on certain outcomes. And I don't mean that in like an obtuse way. Like, yeah, if JD wins, we're all going to be slaves to Zog. I mean, like, for them personally, with like legal, lawfare. Like, it was a reality for them. So I get it. Yeah. Dude, we're still going on about this. Like, here's the thing. I said this at the top of the stream. Like, could it realistically be AI? Sure, I'm not an expert. I think some of the arguments people are making, pointing out that this is AI, I think are ridiculous. The whole like foam in the cup and whatnot. It's also irritating when people dismiss the possibility itself. I'm trying to be rigorous here. I don't write it off entirely that any of this is necessarily AI for the reasons I stated before. That maybe it's for safety. I doubt he's really dead. I think it's sort of a low probability thing that he's dead. I think it's like a PR move, if anything. Like, Netanyahu doesn't want to come out of the bunker because I don't think he wants to die. It's a little risky. So I won't say it. I think what's goyish about all of this is some of the arguments people are making about like the foam, about certain visual artifacts that could just be explained by compression. Like, when we're trying to analyze like a 720p video re-uploaded 6 times. But so overall, I will say this: the obsession with this, I think, is dumb. I don't think it's consequential, really. But people always gravitate towards the most outlandish version of events. Some grand conspiracy, some hidden deception. Bibi Netanyahu is really dead. And people want that to be real. That's a very compelling story to run with. And I think that's why it's captured a lot of people's attention, but it's like, it's ultimately not important. And we're sifting through like scraps here, you know, like low confidence information, like low confidence conclusions can be drawn from what we're doing here. So it's like, why are we dying on this hill? Why do we care so much about, you know, whether or not this is AI generated? Because it suits, and that's where you realize, like, it's because it suits certain narratives, and that's how a lot of people think. They want it to be true, and whether or not the evidence supports that, they'll pick it up and run with it. And I just think that that's just the wrong way to go about things. San Diego. Rudyard Lynch is top G. He's impervious. Yeah, legendary crash out, huh? I wonder who's attacking the Catholic faith all the time. Yeah, I wonder who it could be. I wonder. Who would attack the Catholic faith all the time? I wonder why it's always cool to criticize Muslim Catholics in the United States. Yeah, I wonder. You might be onto something. I live here in Nevada, Arizona, and Cali. Touch. Damn, you're at the intersection between 3 states.
Are in full panic mode over what, but now many on the left, some on the right, are in full panic mode over what is a historic miracle unfolding before our eyes, known as Operation Epic Fury. Which brings us to another fundamental question. Are these Trump haters really willing to risk a nuclear-armed Iran?
Yeah.
Stop. Freeze frame. That
Yes,
is
I am.
the defining question. Not really a debatable
It's not
question.
ideal,
You either want a nuclear
but I would
armed
rather
Iran,
a nuclear-armed Iran than a nuclear-armed Israel. But the fact of the matter is, Israel is armed. And it's in our interests if there's some balance of power in the region. And you can really only accomplish that with another nuclear power.
leaving your children and grandchildren.
That's in our interest as Americans. And frankly, for the region, because it's less likely two nuclear-armed powers would go to war with each other. So, that's just rhetoric.
Such, or you're not. Are they comfortable with the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism?
Like that's just rhetoric. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? How much terrorism has Iran sponsored against America?
Says death to Israel, death to America, that according to them, telling Steve Witkoff, are in possession.
Yeah, only like retarded boomers would find this compelling, man.
Kilograms of enriched uranium. Right now, that's 60%.
And again, they're all the way over there. What can they really do? What can they do to us? Even if they say death to America, okay. Who cares? Who cares, man? Who cares? What? So somebody's chants death to America, we should go and kill them? They're just words, little bro.
Percent enrichment, 7 to 10 days. Guess what? That's enough for 11 nuclear bombs in a very short period of time. So are these Trump derangement syndrome patients really willing to put their lives and their children and their grandchildren in a hostage position?
Once again, it's also like, what has this regime done for us, for our kids, and for our grandchildren? What has the Trump regime done for us, exactly? So I look around and the economy is in the gutter. Americans are being replaced every single day by more H-1B, or not even just H-1B, but more visa workers in general. There's more immigration. Again, so like, what exactly is this argument exactly? You need to bomb this country, tank our economy. You need to be okay with that for your grandkids? That makes no sense. They are no real threat to us. there's, dude, Venezuela was more of a threat to us than Iran, bro. Like, what? So dumb. You listen to this guy every night? This, what, Sean Hannity? If Lil Rocket Man can have a missile or nuke, then Iranians can have one. Even Pakistan and India, the poo people have nukes. Yeah, just think about that for a second. People should be more upset about India having nukes than Iran potentially having nukes. It's just so retarded. Biden let in 10 billion sleeper cells. Yeah, that will be the cover story, right? When there's a false flag. Not like, so, it's so obvious, dude. Been saying that for a while. If Trump took Benji out, that would truly be some 4D chess. And then, yeah, and then, yeah, he's not going to do that. And then there's a big earthquake and India gets swallowed whole. And we all celebrate. Who is what? It's not what Donald Trump has done for you, but what has Donald Trump done for Israel? That's the real question. Yeah. Yeah, JFK had it all wrong. That's how he should have phrased it. Yeah, that is a theory I've floated. Maybe even the opposition took him out as revenge for Yitzhak Rabin. I don't know. That in a time of war like that, I think even the I just don't think that's the most likely. It's possible. But I feel like we would have heard more about it. I feel like we would have heard a lot more about it. I don't know, I don't think this is all like kayfabe. Kayfabe, kayfob, I'm not a wrestling guy. I don't rule out anything. I just don't think it's likely. Gut level. Yeah, speaker, Fox News is on your grandparents' house 24/7. Sheesh. That's rough. That's rough. That's like psychological damage. If Benjamin Netanyahu has blackmail on everybody, wouldn't that make people want to take him out? Yeah, but you know, blackmail 101, you have a dead man switch. You know, blackmail 101 is you have contingencies for if someone tries to take you out, you know? Look, if Trump truly like left Israel out to dry, took out Netanyahu, told them to go fucking kick rocks, then he would go down as one of the greatest presidents in US history. But so far, none of that has happened. And it's unlikely to happen. So, there's been like nothing that leads me to believe that that's likely to happen either, you know? And the great Martha Levin, yeah. Smelly the supreme leader every night. Dude, so many bots on Kick, man. So many fucking bots on Kick. Crazy. That was a good story. China took 100 terabytes of evidence data from the FBI. I think there's 400 altogether. What, 400 terabytes? It is too late to back out now considering the military bases are getting lit up. Yeah, you would just need an exit strategy. You need some way to save face. We are in a war. We are in it now. It's too late to really back out without looking totally weak. Like, if we just pulled the plug on this like tomorrow, then that would like shatter our security guarantees. You know, people would look at America as a very weak country, much weaker, and that would be very bad for our diplomatic relations, and that would probably incite more conflict around the world. along the fault lines. I think that would accelerate the declining American hegemony. Oh, well, I guess it's not really declining, but relative to the ascent of like these other, you know, I should say accelerate multipolarity. It would be a big blow in the other direction, you know. If America's trying to stay on top, it would move the needle in the opposite direction quite a bit. That's why we can't really back out. That's why this whole thing was just a colossal trap that Trump just walked straight into. So, do you believe casualties are higher than given? Probably. I think for some of the stuff that's harder to hide, like the KC-135, you know, they have to report on. I know Iran was reporting hundreds of American casualties. I don't know if it's that high. I think it's somewhere in the middle, which is a boring answer, but we're in the fog of war, and the PR game is really, really important. If a lot of Americans come home in body bags, that's going to play really poorly for public support, which is something they're already like desperately trying to cling on to. So they're very much disincentivized from reporting total casualty numbers. In the same way, like it's illegal to film impact sites in Israel. They don't want to show the extent of their losses. America doesn't want, you know, wants to avoid doing the same, wants to do the same thing to avoid showing off how many losses they have. It's probably higher than given, but I don't know exactly where the number is. And that's just speculation because we really can't, there's no way of knowing unless we're really diving deep into a lot of the details, which might not be reliable. A lot of the sources, and so we'll just wait. We'll know eventually. But maybe, you know, and I was talking to my dad, and he thinks that they're probably higher than they admit, and he's worried that some kind of false flag in the region, they would blame all the deaths on that or something, which is possible, but yeah, I think they're just trying to delay releasing that information. Only Trump can declare victory and leave. Trump has already declared victory and hasn't left. Yeah, I'd say maybe 75 to 125 casualties. Yeah, maybe something like that. I'd believe that. Again, this is all speculation. I have no idea. Back in the day, I used to be a super Zionist too, but I can't stand all of this line for the last 70 years from these deceptive devils. Trump might get impeached because he's compromised. Look, even without being compromised, he might get impeached because of what he's doing. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't know what angle the Democrats will take. Illegal war, illegal tariffs. Who knows exactly what they'll run with if they win the House and the Senate. And I don't know. Really, I just want them to take the House so they have oversight, so they can impede the Trump admin. They can shut it down. That's what all those committees are for. That's kick. Ugh. What are we doing? Are people really like gooning over the Jewish barista? Also, Alyssa Liu, like, dude, that fucking piercing is disgusting. Straight up. Alright, nice. Nick's going live. Alright, boys. There'll be the impeachment buffet for the Democrats. Yep, let them have it. Let them have it, dude. Fuck the GOP. These people need to be punished. Trump calls Somalia a fourth world nation. Yeah, you didn't deport any of the fucking Somalians, bro. Is that, like, some, like, retards are still gonna see Trump saying things as a win. If you're still convinced by him saying things, or anyone in his admin talking about doing something, we're talking about deporting a lot of people. We're talking about, you're an idiot. You're a dumb idiot goy. Enough talk.
Something coming through the window for sure.
Fucking Tarek, bro. I remember Tarek was playing Minecraft for the first time, and he was like jiggle peeking corners and saw a creeper. He was like, "Oh hell no!" I'm like, bro, you can take the CS player out of CS, but you can't take the CS out of the player. Anyway, boys. All right, Nick tweet for real this time. Yeah, let's go. I have a prediction: China negotiate a ceasefire at April meeting between Trump and Xi until midterms. Then we get boots on the ground after midterms. I don't know. I still think they're gonna get killed, and I don't think they can do that if they don't have the House. The House will just prevent Trump from doing that. That's why they had to do it now. So anyway, boys, GN everyone, GN. Nick's going live. I'm gonna grab something to eat, and then I'm gonna play Marathon. Why am I not signed in? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Don't you love that? Nick is nowhere to be seen on the front page, even though he probably has like 15 to 20,000 people in the pre-lobby. Rumble still hoeing our mans. Like seriously, can we just live streams? Go live streams. Like literally #1 live stream on the platform. Nowhere to be seen on the main page. Bill. Okay. Yep, starting soon. Oh, it's Credo already. All right. I'll see you guys. I'm going to go play some Marathon, eat something, and yeah. Rumble is racist against Mexicans. True. All right. GN, everyone. I think I'll do a gaming stream tomorrow. But if not, I'll be here Wednesday at 6:30, and it'll be a little more organized. Anyway, take care, guys.